Good morning, Facebook group. Good morning. Rise and shine. Rise and shine. This is the 7 a.m. sales training with the Rise workbook. Last night was the first official Rise training. For those of you who don't know what we're doing or who I am, my name is Tammy Renee. I am a high performance sales coach and sales expert with over 3 decades of sales experience. And I'm here to go over the curriculum that I'm giving away for free for a limited time. There is no sales training on the market that teaches internal transformation before we teach external sales strategies. So we are live across multiple platforms. You'll see me looking in different directions. Please comment below. Let me know what industry that you're in. Feel free to post questions as we go along. If you missed the training last night, these are all live publicly on social media right now. But once we are out of the beta launch for Rise, this will be in our private Zoom room, in our legacy lounge. That's where our VIP members hang out, in our pitch room. The pitch room is where we do live role play, and I evaluate your sales calls anytime throughout the day. We say office hours, but I always make exceptions for you. So if you're in sales, who is this for? If you're in sales, if you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, coach, consultant, and you have something to sell, car salesman, insurance salesmen, again, coaches, consultants, personal trainers, dermatology representatives, nurse practitioners. These are all some of my clients. And these 4 pillars that I teach in our sales training go across all industries. They're universal. So this is why the Rise sales training will apply to any industry. I even had someone reach out to me yesterday who him and his wife own a photography business. And so the 4 pillars that we teach are in the Rise workbook and the curriculum. I know they're backwards. I got to figure out how to mirror the camera, so to speak. But this right here is the workbook. This is the curriculum. Curriculum is 17 pages. This is 55 pages. We want you to implement more than what you read, if that makes sense. So we're not going to have you sit through a bunch of long, drawn out videos. We want you to get short, bite-sized training videos and implement it in the workbook. This is at least a $2,000 value in just a couple of weeks. So if you want it for free, comment 2025 below. Now this will give you the curriculum for free, and then you'll have an opportunity to join me in the pitch room. So let's get started. Comment below. You're in real estate. Good morning. Hi, Kim. So how long have you been in real estate? We're on multiple platforms. Comment below what industry that you're in. How long have you been in real estate, and what is your biggest problem with selling right now, with maybe keeping the customer engaged, because it could be a long period before closing, right? 2 to 4 months or something like that. So comment below what industry that you're in and maybe what's your one biggest obstacle. Now keep in mind, once we get out of beta launch, you're going to have ultimate privacy in our Zoom room. So if some of you, I know here in our Facebook group it is private, but if you're on any of these public platforms, I said this last night, if you don't want to post any of your struggles because maybe some of your clients might see the post or you don't want to seem that vulnerable, that's understandable. But just know that once we get out of beta launch, you're going to be invited into our private Zoom room and hang out in the Legacy Lounge. So the Legacy Lounge is for our VIP clients, and I'll touch on that right before we end it tonight or today. Tonight. We're just starting the day, and I'm already looking forward to tonight's training. So this is free. Comment 2025 below. And basically, let me just back up a little bit, okay? Rise is the most comprehensive sales training on the market. We deal with the internal transformation because all of these other gurus that are teaching, and I've been in sales longer than most of these gurus that are out here. I didn't need social media to make a fortune. I did it behind the scenes privately with big companies and high income earners. So now I'm coming out from behind the curtain, giving you over 30 years of sales experience that have personally helped me. So just keep in mind, you will always be your best case study. If you are the type that someone is trying to sell you something and you're asking them testimonials, case studies, proof that it works, none of that should even matter because you don't know what their work ethic is like, what they did to stay on top of the course. And most of the time, I don't have the exact numbers, but I can only speak in programs that I've personally been involved in. More than 80, I would say closer to 90%. So maybe only 10 out of 100 people actually go through the curriculum and implement it. So with this internal transformation where we start, because there's rise and then there's fusion. Rise is when we deal just with you. Fusion is when we fuse you and the client or the prospect together to convert them into a client. And so with this sales training, you have an opportunity, regardless of what industry that you're in, to implement these 4 pillars. So I'm going to reveal them to you now, and they're also in the RISE curriculum. Comment 2025 below, and I'll send you a link for the free curriculum. So there are 4 C's when it comes to mastering your internal emotional intelligence. That's what we base the RISE training on, is emotional intelligence, not NLP, NEPQ, all of this other N stuff, okay? You don't have to have a 6-pack in order to make money in sales and be all roided out. I know you've seen that guru on there. You don't need a black book of 150 questions that are out there. Why the hell would you want to memorize 150 questions and rebuttals? What if I could show you a way, by mastering your emotional intelligence, how to sell effortlessly and how to naturally be you? Comment 1 below if that would just be awesome. How to master your emotional intelligence and how to naturally be you. This means you won't feel like you're living a double life, being, upset and being a jerk at home and, just impatient, and you can't talk to you. No one, can talk to you when you walk through the door because you're so stressed out, right? But then the minute you walk out of the door and you walk into the office or you go into your home office and get on the phone, you have your customer service voice on. Who has seen those videos where they're jamming in the car, gangster music, bumping it, and then they get on a sales call and they're like, "Hi, John, good morning." So you're living a double life, so to speak. What if you could be so pleasant at home? What if you could have stronger relationships personally that exude the charisma and confidence in you naturally in business? No one talks about this. This is what sets me apart. And this is what we're going to help you figure out in our private Zoom room, is what sets you apart. Because confidence is the first C. Again, it talks about it in the workbook and the curriculum that you'll download today. Confidence is the first C. Now, how do you become confident? You become the expert of your product. You got to become the expert of your product. Know your product better than your competition so you can confidently present your offer to your client. Okay? You have to be confident. By the way, do you love this level 10? We got to figure out how to not be backwards. My Stanley Cup, I had to jump on the Stanley bandwagon when we got swag. Okay, we don't do any swap meet Louis swag around here. Everything we do is top tier. From coaching sales professionals and high performers, top tier coaching, top tier swag, top tier everything. Okay, you get the VIP treatment when you're connected with us. So getting back to confidence and becoming the expert of your product. By the way, if you cannot stay on the training because I know it's the beginning of a lot of your work days, the replay is available. Once we get out of beta launch, you will have access to the value vault that will give you access to all of this as well. Okay, so being the expert of your product is one way to build your confidence. The second way is to constantly practice your pitch. There is one thing that's keeping you from making an absolute fortune, keeping you from living in your dream penthouse in downtown Phoenix, downtown Houston, wherever you want to live. There's one thing that's keeping you from affording that beach house or to be able to create generational wealth. And that's because you're not practicing your pitch. This is the one thing I can say with 1,000% confidence, because if you practiced like professional athletes do, like the greatest athletes in the world, they didn't just practice with the team. They practiced morning, noon, and night on their own. They were obsessed. And I promise you, if you become obsessed with becoming the expert of your product, you are going to have a pep in your step. You are going to be so confident that you will not have an ounce of fear or hesitation in you when it comes time to making that sales call. And so what are you going to get out of this training with Rise? What are you going to get out of working with me? And why am I so qualified to help you? As I stated earlier, I have over 30 years of sales experience. I've sold tens of millions of dollars across at least 6 industries. Whether it was brick and mortar, I used to own plus size clothing stores, whether it was telemarketing call centers, customer service support centers, multi-level marketing, online shopping. I pioneered live shopping on Facebook back in late 2016, early 2017, when it first came out, before TikTok Shop was even a twinkle in social media's eyes. So I was early to the game. I've been a pioneer in a lot of different things. So I'm not saying this to toot my horn, but what I'm saying is so that way you can have confidence in me to lead you to the top, to lead you from here to the land of success. And once we get to the land of success, that's your internal transformation. We're going to take a journey from here to the land of success. Once we get there, then that's when we're going to apply fusion, which is between you and the client, and we're going to elevate. We're going to ascend to a level 10 to the top of Mount Abundance. I use a lot of analogies in my training. Okay? So with this training, what you can expect, higher conversion rates. I can guarantee that. I don't have percentages because I don't know how much you're going to participate in the pitch room, but in the pitch room, you get live role play. You also have access to me via Voxer, so that way you can send me your recorded sales calls. If you don't record your sales calls, start that today. There are free apps that you can record your sales calls. If you're working for a place and they don't allow you to record your sales calls, you have to figure something out. I don't want to tell you to do something that would get you in trouble, but I sure would be putting on the video record on my cell phone if you're allowed to have your cell phone on your desk. Okay? So in this training, what you can expect is higher conversion rates. You can expect to be rubbing elbows with some of the best sales professionals, other than myself as well, that can give you actionable steps, that can critique you, that you can be part of a community. Wouldn't you love, I mean, I don't know any of your situations, but I'm just saying, wouldn't you just love to wake up to your dream view? This is one of my dream views. If you're not waking up to your dream view, if you're not waking up with someone that absolutely motivates you and is your biggest hype man, your biggest hype girl, if you're not waking up grateful and giving gratitude in the morning, you're already starting your day off in a low vibe, negative energy. So the second thing that you can expect with the Rise training is the most amazing internal transformation that you will ever have in your life. Because before you go out and try and sell your product to the world and apply all these external strategies and learn all of this NAPQ of someone else, you need to learn yourself first in order for you to be a top tier sales professional. You must know the psychology of you before anything else. So teaching you external strategies is not going to be effective, or as effective, I should say, because that's quick fixes, right? It's try to immediately quick fix the problem, but then you're starting all over again. So we're going to master your internal transformation. That's the second thing that you can expect from Rise. The third thing that you can expect, again, I mentioned the pitch room, is to be involved in a community, have direct contact with me. Am I on the status of Dan Henry, Myron Golden, Gary Vee? Absolutely not. But they all started at some point. And so my purpose in saying that is you have access to me right now, but this time next year, it's not going to be this easy. I won't be going live twice a day. We'll be flying on our private jet for VIP days. We'll be having major events. So, the people that knew Dan Henry before he was Dan Henry, when he was delivering pizza boxes, would have had access to him. They don't have access to him now. Same with Myron Golden, unless you pay Myron Golden a few $100,000 for a VIP day. He's one of my favorite mentors. Yes, comment 2025 below. I'm sorry, I haven't mentioned that. So I haven't mentioned it in a few minutes. With this training, it's absolutely free. This is a $2,000 value minimum. The value is going to increase as we add more things to the training. If you get it now, it's no charge. Comment 2025 below. Okay. So the first C is confidence. Second C is charisma. Your confidence is going to naturally exude your charisma. Tonight, we're going to go more in depth on what charisma is. Excuse me. All right, we got kicked off on one of the platforms. So confidence and charisma. Charisma isn't being over bubbly, acting like some high school cheerleader with some pom-poms in your hand, just over the top. People get the definition of charisma wrong all the time. Charisma is a combination of things. Charisma is being so magnetic that prospects and people are drawn to you. Imagine being so magnetic where sales come to you. People ask about doing business with you. Wouldn't that be phenomenal? So that's what charisma is. Your confidence, because you're going to be the expert of your product. You're going to have that pep in your step. You're naturally going to exude charisma. You're going to be pleasant to do business with. You're going to be pleasant to be around. And so charisma is the second C. The third C is communication, because once you are the expert of your product, you're charismatic in presenting your offer. Communication is going to prevent you, and this is clear communication, is going to prevent you from serving a bunch of word salads. That's what I call them. You're just like, all these words in a salad bowl, and you're mixing them up, and the salad bowl is the customer's mind, or the prospect's mind, wait a minute, I can't keep up. You're talking too much. So clear, concise communication to present your offer. Once you do that, you're going to be able to go to the fourth C. This is what the curriculum goes over. Is the first thing is, what are the 4 C's of Rise? And you're mastering your internal transformation. So this Rise sales training is based on using emotional intelligence to effortlessly and subtly sell. This is going to increase your conversion rates. Absolutely. And so the fourth C is centricity. This means that your client should feel like a VIP even if they bought your lowest ticket offer. Because with centricity, this is where you build long-lasting relationships and where you can get 3, 4, 5 referrals for every sale. Wouldn't that be amazing to get 3 to 5 new referrals for every sale? Can you imagine you close a deal and all of a sudden you have 4 or 5 more deals? Because I love this Stanley Cup. Because your clients are going to be your biggest hype girls, your biggest hype men, if you treat them right. But the number one reason why customers leave a company is because lack of customer connection, client support. There's a disconnect between the client support department as well as the sales department. Companies get this wrong all the time. Client support, customer service, aka client support, should be aligned in harmony with the sales team. Why would they not be? You have the sales team working so hard to get the sale, and then if you have a client support or customer service department that don't have their act together, all of that work out the window. So when I go to these big companies here in these high rises to train their sales teams, we align the client support department and their sales department. That is a must in the training. And so you're going to learn that as well as an individual, as an entrepreneur or a sales rep. As a sales rep for another company, you don't have anything to do most likely with the client support department or customer service, but it starts with you. Be the leader of the pack. Make sure that you have someone in client support that you can deal with directly and say, okay, when you get my deals, this is how I'd like my clients to be treated, because we're going to get more deals the better you treat them. Don't be afraid to talk with people in your other departments, okay? So by the end of this training, you're going to have a completely different outlook on what sales is. Sales doesn't have to be sleazy, doesn't have to be slimy, doesn't have to have all these touch your chest and lean forward and I had to take a training, an acting class. No, we're not teaching none of that mess that you hear from these gurus on these platforms. Can you imagine? Like, no wonder salespeople feel so shitty. It's because they're fake. Not all of them, but a lot of them, and that's because of the tactics and the strategies that they have to learn. Until Rise came on the scene, everything was about external strategies, neuroscience, neuropsychology. If I wanted to learn all the neuro of other people, I would have become a psychologist. You talk about neuro, this and that, I'd check out. So the only thing I can do is provide you what has helped me sell tens of millions of dollars across multiple industries, okay? So you will have a completely refreshed outlook on what sales is. You're going to have an increased conversion rate. You're going to have access to work with me directly in the pitch room, okay? And be able to have your sales calls evaluated. So I want to thank you for coming on with me tonight. We will go more in depth with the sales training. We'll go through some of the workbook as well, but comment 2025 below so you can get your copy for free. I will send you the link to access your copy. It'll be up to you to print them out, but they look absolutely gorgeous when you do. And if you have any questions throughout the day, don't hesitate to reach out to me via DM. Thank you for joining me. My name is Tammy Renee, your go-to sales expert and high-performance sales coach, live from beautiful downtown Phoenix, Arizona, from a dream penthouse I manifested. And you might think that that sounds crazy or woo-woo, but I'll tell you what, dreams come true. Dreams do come true. So thank you for joining me. Have an amazing day, and please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.